What's your general take on the state of gun violence in the city right now?
I think it's like really bad, and it's just been increasing and increasing. Like, there was gun violence before, but for the past, I don't know, just this year, there's just been a lot of it.
Have you had any up-close experiences with it at this point?
I haven't.
You live in an area where it's been happening. What is that like for you?
It's a little, not scary, but it worries me because like there's been a lot of children getting shot and they shouldn't have to go through that, and other children shouldn't have to worry about that.
Do you know of anybody that's been involved in anything?
Yes, my classmate, one of my, what do you call him? One of my peers at school, he was shot and killed the other day on Genesee Street.
Wow. And you knew him fairly well?
I also went to camp with him.
What was that like for you to hear that?
It was hard because at first they didn't identify him, so I had to find out through like social media. So when I seen it, I was like, oh, like, hurt me.
It's still surprising at this point, right? I mean, it's still shocking even though there's a surge in gun violence. I'm guessing hearing something like that brings it home.
Yeah, closer as a friend, so it really, really hit home.
What impact do you think that this is having on kids? I mean, you're 17 now, but kids who are 13, 14, 15, what impact do you think it's having on them, if any?
Well, for starters, I think that it's like making them think like this isn't safe around here, and it starts to worry them, or they might start to join the violence because they fear for their own lives. So I feel like it could spiral out of control if it continues.
Do you feel safe around here?
I feel pretty safe, but I don't think a lot of the younger kids do.
You've been coming to the Boys and Girls Club for 10 years, I think you said?
Yes.
What impact has that had on your life?
Well, I always call the Boys and Girls Club my second home, and I feel really safe inside these doors because I know it keeps me from outside and from out of trouble. So I feel safe here.
On the gun violence note, do you feel safe in the area?
Well, where I live, I personally feel safe, but for other kids, people who live more in the more popular areas like, Genesee Street or Flint Street, all the other streets where there's a lot of like gun action over there. I don't think kids who live there would feel safe, but no, I personally feel safe where I'm at.
Do you ever go out, walking in the evening or anything like that?
No, not really. I usually just walk here, and if I do, it's in the morning time or when it's daylight. I don't ever want to be walking outside when it's getting like late, so probably like around 6 or like 7, I wouldn't be caught walking or something.
What do you think about that?
I think it's personally scary, especially like, all the gun violence that's happening, and it's later in the evening. Plus, I'm a girl, so it's even more scarier because you never know what's going to happen to me or other people who are other women who are walking around at night. So.
Do you feel like it's unfair that you don't get to walk, or you don't feel safe walking in the evening?
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. Other people, they can just go about, other people can just go about their day and, feel safe when they're walking around, versus other people, they just don't. But I don't really know. I think it's just kind of like like I said, like a better safe than sorry type thing for me and other people as well, so.
Has your family or your friend group been impacted by gun violence at all?
Only my sister, not me personally. One of her friends, they got shot in a parking lot. They were waiting for like some shoes to come out, and I guess he got shot down for the shoes, and that's really all the gun violence that's happened in my life, so.
What do you think about that?
I think it's really scary, like, over some shoes. I don't think that should be happening, especially like nowadays. It's not really that deep over some shoes, so it's personally really scary.
What do you think's leading to the increase in gun violence?
Probably homes, people's homes, or the environments that they're raised in, or, you know, not a lot of people having a lot of opportunities with their life, or thinking they don't have a way out of their lifestyle. That's probably leading to these kind of things.
Yeah. When you heard about the Pennsylvania Ave shooting, you know, at the big party, and they shot into the group, I'm sure you heard about
Yeah, I heard that.
What do you think? What did you think anything different about that than any of the other shootings?
No. Oh, are you talking about the mass shooting that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my cousin was there when
Oh,
that happened.
really?
Yeah. So that was really. He's still like trying to recover from that. A lot of stuff happened there, he said, but that was also really scary. I could never imagine something like that happening.
A lot of trauma on your part of your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
When you say trying to recover, what do you mean by that?
Well, one of the people that he was like with got shot. I think they got shot in their face or like their upper area. So, and you know, he couldn't just, he tried to help, but all the commotion that was going on, he kind of got like mixed out of the party. So after that, he just tried to go back and find her, but she was already gone, I guess. And ever since then, he hasn't heard from her, so he doesn't really know what's going on with her right now.
What would be your message to the community?
Stay safe and do your best on staying safe. Keep your kids out of those kind of things.
So, Sabre, you live up on the north side. What's life like for you when it comes to gun violence?
It's pretty decent over there. I don't really hear a lot about like shootings. There was one across the street from my house in the field. They shot him and then they left his body there. I didn't personally see it, but my mom said she seen it. So, but for the most part, it's pretty quiet over there. I don't really hear much about like shootings or anything. I mostly hear like on the west side or like the east side.
But that's pretty intense. I mean, to have that happen across the street from you.
Yeah, it was kind of traumatic because I was like, you know, that could have been me, like, or my family when we were outside or something like that. But it's kind of traumatic for the family as well because, like, they were just, like, probably walking and then, boom, they're down. So it's pretty traumatic. And then for it to be right across the street from my house and only mine, it is pretty scary.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that kids your age and even younger have to deal with all this?
I find it bad that we have to live our childhood being in fear of getting shot or getting snatched up or things like that. I feel like we really can't live our childhood how we're supposed to, or even adults, they can't really be adults because they have to worry about this or worry about themselves or their family doing this. So it's a lot on everyone.
That seems hard.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time here then?
Yeah. I haven't really been coming because I've been working a lot, but any of my free time, I'm here.
Have you been impacted outside of what happened across the street from you? Has your family or friends been impacted by gun violence at all?
Not that I personally know of. I don't know any of their family that's been impacted on that.
Has it been, one thing I was wondering is if it happens so much, does it kind of become common, like a way of life, like you hear about it and it doesn't faze you, or are you becoming numb in a way to what's been happening?
Yeah, I feel like I've personally became numb a long time ago. It's just like, oh wow, another shooting, nothing new. And I shouldn't have that mindset, but it's just how life is now. So it's like they made shooting such a common thing that it's just like, oh, it happened again.
Wow. And you were saying it's not like you want to have that mentality. It's
yeah,
just
no.
that. So maybe almost a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
What does your family say? I mean, do you talk about it with your family and friends at all, or is it just kind of like you just don't, it's kind of that issue you don't address?
I talk about it mostly with my dad because he's not into violence, but like he's like on violence. Like, oh, if this happens, then I have a defense mechanism for if something happens, then he has this to protect us. So I mostly talk about it with him, not too much with my mom. She's like not about guns at all. Yeah,
but do you talk about the increased violence like with other people, or is it a conversation amongst friends and family right now?
No, I feel like it makes people uncomfortable, so I try not to have that as a topic.
Wow, but you think everyone kind of thinks about it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Being here at the Boys and Girls Club, what has that been like for you?
This is definitely a second home for me. I feel safe here if nowhere else. I know for sure that they're going to protect everyone at all costs here.
Yeah. Because no one talks about it, do you think that there's going to be any repercussions later on? Like, do you think we talked about trauma with Tamyah? Do you think that it's going to be something that people are going to have to deal with emotionally later on?
Yeah, I feel like PTSD is going to be a really big thing later on. And depression about it is definitely going to be big, more than what it is now.
What would be your message to those, I asked Tamyah, like, what would be your message to the community? What would be your message to those who aren't living on Genesee Street, who aren't seeing what, you know, your mom saw across the street? What's your message to those who are kind of like looking out into the city and the gun violence right now?
Just that just because you see it done doesn't mean that you have to do it too, just to be seen or heard.
Yeah. Any other messages that you might have, you know, given everything that's been happening this year?
No, I just hope everyone stays safe as possibly as they can.
Why do you think there is an increase in gun violence this year, as Kamari was talking about?
I feel like social media has a really big toll on people's mindsets and the way they think, and then popularity comes with that, and then they feel like they have to do this to be popular or to have friends, but social media is a really big thing about that.
And then once, you know, we were talking with Tamyah about the shoes, you know, afterwards, someone's in the hospital with a gunshot wound. Does their mentality change? Like, why did I do that? Like, I'm actually in serious pain right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they'll probably regret even, you know, wanting to get the shoes. And it's like, I got shot because I'm in line about shoes that everyone, you know, could have got at some point. So it's very traumatic and really hurtful about that.
Yeah. What do you hope to do after, I know you're only in 10th grade, but like, what are you thinking about for the next few years of your life?
I was actually debating on if I wanted what kind of surgeon I wanted to be. I'm still debating between a trauma surgeon and a ped surgeon.
Trauma surgeon?
Yeah.
Why?
I watch Grey's Anatomy a lot, so seeing the traumas that come in, you know, what people have to deal with on a regular, I feel like I can help that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, what we're talking about here, it just seems very appropriate that you
Yeah.
could be part of the solution, I suppose.
Yeah, and if I can be a part of it, why not?